Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I brought something special for you because I love you all so much. Our new head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, our coach and yours, John Robinson.
I'm not sure if I'd do this for free, but I'd sure as hell do it for a lot less.
Two great things about this business, in my opinion. One is winning, and two's getting paid.
Whatever it takes to win, that's the bottom line. We expect to turn this program around. And we didn't come all the way out here not to get this job done.
I believe in a multiple offense.
You really never understand what it is to be the top man until you're the top man. You just don't understand that the buck does stop here.
It's not a game to us. This is our profession. And we work morning, noon, and night to do the best job that we can in our profession.
I'm proud to be part of what I think is going to be a great future for New Orleans.
It's the one profession where guys grow up continuing to be boys.
You're on your own.
Well, thanks for that short introduction, Paul. I appreciate that.
The majority of the coaches do not retire in this profession.
You know, it's kind of like the guy going into the gas chamber and the attendant said, "Don't worry, it'll be over in a couple of seconds." And the guy going in said to him, "How do you know?"
I've asked my friend and associate Sam Rutigliano to step aside as head coach of the Cleveland Browns, effective immediately.
And that's when you want to crawl into that fetal position and put the blankets over your head and just hide.
But I don't think that you can crawl in a hole. If you do, you won't survive.
You fight for survival, and that's what we're trying to do. We're just fighting for survival, every coach in the league.
We've got to get the first down. We've got to get the first down.
No, I'm not going to burn out. I might burn up, but I ain't going to burn out.
Thank goodness all coaches aren't clones. You know, it wouldn't be very interesting if we were all clones.
Mouth at 20, you couldn't cover me.
We all have feet of clay. We all make errors, and the thing that we're trying to do is reduce the number of mistakes that you make.
How many mistakes are they going to make out there?
This is not an exact science, football.
Lay on them and don't let them get up too fast.
The emotions and the feelings that you get from losing probably stick with you longer than the joy of winning.
And I don't know what it is. It's the thrill of it. I don't think you can ever experience the tremendous highs that you have in this business and also the tremendous lows that you have.
That's the one thing that you have to do as a coach. You have to keep from getting too high when you win and getting too low when you lose.
Keep your heads up, fellas. You didn't get knocked out of the playoffs. You just lost a ball game. We're not going to lose a lot of them.
I think you've got pressures from the time you get up in the morning until almost until the time that you retire in the evening, be it from your management, your players, the media.
The media is very necessary, number one. They are, in a sense, communicating to the public.
You got the football team, you got the fan and the media. I don't look upon the media quite as idealistically as I did.
Get that damn cameraman off the field.
You just can't please everybody. And if I went back in, I wouldn't try. In fact, I might tell someone to go to hell real early.
It's probably the easiest thing in the world is blame the coach at whatever level he's competing. They blame the coach, and he didn't have anything to do with that at all.
Well, these guys are almost gutless, and the ones that aren't that are brainless.
So many people go to work every day and don't have a chance to really do something great. And by great, I mean in man's terms. You know, one of the greatest things that man can produce is the Super Bowl.
When you win the Super Bowl, it's just a temporary thing. Because once you won it, then you know you have to turn around and win it again.
The fear of losing is haunting you right to the time the game ends.
I think after all these years, Mike, that I could come out here and be nice and relaxed. Jeez, I'm a nervous wreck.
Security is not part of the game. If you want security, you can go take the civil service exams. It would offer that type of security.
I guess isn't a tough way to make a living.
I've never known any successful coach that wasn't, say, overcommitted or an imbalance in his life.
And I don't think this game is one for well-adjusted people.
You know, we're not crazy, but maybe a little off.
It's a game that can drive you mad, not for mad men.
It's really frightening because I don't know what I'd do if it was ever taken away from me. I'd be a manic depressant.
You know, I've heard this term, the right stuff. Astronauts or race car drivers, or, you know, you think you're the guy. And if you don't think you're the guy, you don't have that kind of confidence, then you don't belong here.
Jet pilots landing on aircraft carriers in World War II, and football coaches, I kind of draw the same parallel. The guy said, "God, where do we get such men like that?"
I'm sure that coaches 20 years ago, or maybe longer, 30, 40 years ago, were just as sincere and just as dedicated to their job as coaches are today. But as everything else, football changes.
I don't think I would enjoy coaching today nearly as much as I did in the 1930s and early 40s. In my day, I was the only head coach. I didn't have anybody else. I coached the team, coached the offense, the defense, the line, the backs, and everybody else. And I hired a fellow by the name of Roy Baker. He was our trainer, and he would come out and work with me every day as well as being trainer. Now, I was all alone. You took the responsibility when you lost, and you also took the glory when you won, too. And so now I think they have so many other problems, they get kind of lost in them. They got the coaches coach the coaches now, and they got so many of them that I don't think there's any team that don't have at least about 9 or 10 coaches on the squad.
Gentlemen, are you going to put your big man in, or are you going to stand here?
Beckman! No, not Jimbo. Beckman! Beckman! Get up there and make him kick it again. Or maybe it's on us. Maybe it's on us.
We're no different than a lot of professions. We're only as good sometimes as our assistant coaches, guys that do a lot of the work during the game.
Dick? Huh? About 1 yard. All right, do swing, 15 base. Leave Wilbert in there. Dick? Yeah. Got 2 downs here probably to make it. Yeah. Run behind Woody, Jerry says, because he's really taking care of Cole. All right, I want slot split, 18 flip. 18 flip. I said 18 flip. Should be there, Dick. Dick. Yeah. I tell you, I think I do a better job without too many suggestions. I know it. I think so, too.
Am I correct in saying this now? Emmett, Rod? Emmett, Rod. Hey, Emmett, Rod?
Sam, I don't have to. I know, Sam, I know. I won't. If you don't have those coaches pulling for each other, and it's very easy in a losing year for the coaches to start pointing fingers and start alibying.
I know it, but I don't need that jawing around here.
I see situations where you have an offensive coordinator who's really the head coach in charge of offense and a defensive coordinator who's the head coach in charge of defense, and you end up with a head coach who's in charge of nothing.
I don't think they quite get the harmony. To be a good coach, there's one fellow got to run the whole deal.
Just a bit.
I got it.
Sometimes people look at you and say, well, hey, you're a very special person. And, well, you're just another guy trying to do your best. And I think it's something that you yourself have to guard against, that you don't let your ego run wild, that you all of a sudden start thinking, hey, here I am, baby.
I'll be happy to answer any questions.
John, have you been contacted about the Rams when you resigned?
You guys have changed the damn bed.
Everybody knows your business, and there are a lot of experts who don't mind relating the fact that they know your business. You get awful lot of advice on Monday morning. You have a hard time getting advice on Sunday.
If you could figure out a pass to call, I'd be glad to take it. You saw what we were doing in the passing game. Don't blush. You know, you guys get on me, I get on you occasionally. So take it.
You give a guy a microphone or a typewriter, he's automatically an expert. Once you know that, well, they don't bother you anymore because they're experts.
I'd say that's a pretty good evaluation. I got both of you guys now. Let's see, you're my passing coach, you're the special teams coach. Anybody want to try for the running coach?
People have all the answers. You know, they got the serial number of the unknown soldier. They can tell you exactly the way in which you should do your job.
Why didn't you kick the field goal or something like that? Well, I just nod and go on. They're not going to change my mind. I don't think I'm going to change theirs, so I just nod and grin and go on.
The general public would like to know more and would like for us to spill our guts, so to speak.
Be careful what you say to the media. Don't have any comments that you make now that you'll regret later.
They have a job to do, and you have to have a job to do. And part of their job is to take up your time when you would least like for them to.
What we needed was Knute Rockne, and he was not here. We will attempt to come back next Sunday in Tampa Stadium in front of our own crowd. We've now proven we can't play on the road or in front of our own crowd. So we would like to have a neutral site.
And I'm not going to be serious with them. I'm going to give them flippant answers. They want to be serious. This is their profession. And I won't be serious with them because some of the questions to me are asinine.
John, it was your last game as head coach. Did the players say anything?
Yeah, I heard a guy call me several names and embarrassed me using that kind of language on a football field.
I don't know that they're the main problem. Really, to have the press as a problem, then something else has got to be feeding into that, whether it's agents, whether it's unions, whether it's salary disputes. all those things will tend to cause the media to be a problem.
We had no drug problems. We had nothing. We all lived in the same hotel. I think it was easier to get them fired up for a football game. I think they were happier playing when we were playing, even though they didn't make very much money.
Players today, a player making $1,950,000, I'm not sure that he's not playing for the money. And I'm not sure that there are players playing football today who don't like football, but they can't afford not to play because of the money that they're offered.
A good player in those days would probably sign for about $150 a game, so he was only making about $1,800 a year. A lot of players played football, I think, just to play football. In our day, we tackled a lot better than they do today. They don't tackle today. They just wrestle them down, jump on them, and hug them down. They don't tackle like we tackled, and they don't block like we blocked. We blocked and we kept our head between the ball carrier and the defensive man. We didn't make any bones about it. We just took that defensive man, whether it was a running play or pass play, we blocked him right on the line of scrimmage. They build those tackles and guards up both on the offense and defense until they're massive, and then it gets to be kind of a wrestling match out there. They hold and they pull and they tug, and it's just it's more or less of a wrestling match. It isn't blocking anymore.
I keep hearing people say there's a new breed of athlete, and I suppose maybe there's a new upbringing of the athlete that leads him to certain lifestyle vis-a-vis the coach that maybe that didn't happen when Vince Lombardi was in his heyday.
Hey, supposed to be a hell of a defensive club. It didn't look like it to me. All the way down, about 70 yards.
I'm sure had Lombardi gone on with his great career and not been interrupted, I'm sure he would have changed also. He's a brilliant man, and he would have seen.
We got a new era of football players today that they feel important individually. And you've got to handle them with communication. If you don't, you're not going to be successful anymore.
In order to lead people or to set an example, that you provide incentive for them, give them initiative, and let them get the credit for their success as much as you can. There's a quote by an old Chinese prophet, goes way back to 585 BC. Exactly, it stated that a leader is best when people barely know he exists. Not so good when people obey and acclaim him. Worse when they despise him. But of a good leader who talks little when this work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, we did it ourselves.
Once you get a player who says to himself, I'm not going to disappoint my coach, boy, you've motivated him. Rather than get a player who says, I'm going to play so I get paid or so that I don't get yelled at. You've got a guy playing for the wrong reasons, but when he plays so that he can satisfy that coach, you've motivated him.
I think it was my relationship with my players was the strongest point I had in coaching. They wanted to win for themselves, and they wanted to win for me.
You're talking about 1 million feet of film a year a coach looks at or more. We film our players from the moment they walk out the door till they come back, and that has to be studied and reviewed. Your daily practice is filmed, and you got to show that to your players. You got to show them the upcoming opponent. To be totally prepared takes a lot of time, and it's just never finished.
I know all coaches at the beginning of the year say that they want to win the Super Bowl. But somehow, some way, in your meetings and in your practices and mental and physical preparation, you've got to be better prepared than the people that you're competing against, and to me, this is the winning edge.
Have the poise now to listen for the quarterback. Don't try to anticipate. We're in non-rhythm cadence.
I don't think that the average person realizes what being a football coach in the National Football League entails.
Okay, let me go over the itinerary. Guys that would work 15, 18 hours a day, maybe not eat lunch. You know, I haven't eaten lunch in 6 years on my job.
Monday morning, 7 o'clock, you're in the office, and you're working 7 days a week. You're working 26 weekends. You're working 3 nights a week. There's not much glamour in that. It's very satisfying. It's very rewarding. It's very stimulating, but it's not glamorous.
Each week you have an opportunity to prepare,
to an objective. You have an opportunity to plan, you dissect the things that are being done, both offensively and defensively.
We're making the drop, and once you're getting there,
Having done that, you work throughout the course of that week to implement that particular plan.
But there's got to be a plan outside. I don't know what's going to happen to him, but I do know that the changeup will give him trouble coming on the weak side for me.
And then on a Sunday evening, there's an accounting. You either succeed or you fail. And that weekly process that is involved in this game, that's, to me, the most exciting part of it, and the principal reason that I'm in it.
Ah, come on, Terry! What the hell are you doing? Who are you going to block?
You have to be at least half a teacher, and you have to be at least a half an ornery son of a gun when it comes time.
Get to him, Leroy. You're going to have to be quicker than that.
Leadership isn't always a lot of fun. You don't always make people comfortable in a demanding, pushing, driving position.
That's it. Now, we won't get a second chance. Ball game Friday night, we've got to do it right. Tempo's starting to sag. Some people starting to feel sorry for themselves a little bit out here. And I told you, no coaches are going to feel sorry for you.
The psychologists of the world don't like to use it, but fear is still one of our greatest motivating forces.
Fear of his job, fear of injury, fear of losing, are many things that you could use involving fear that could motivate a player. Confronting the player on the sideline and saying some things that the player really doesn't want to hear. And this in turn will fire the player up, and it'll get the player mad at me. And I want this player to get mad at me and then take it out on the opposition.
You have to be firm, but I don't believe you have to be a horse's rear. I don't believe you have to holler at a guy to make him know you're serious. I believe you can walk up and tell him what you want to tell him.
Remember what I always talk about on the days we win, the days we don't win? What kind of language and how do we act on the days we don't play well? Just like this. Right there. Guys complaining and griping and just play football. Play the best we can. It always works that way.
There's a difference in bitching and coaching. You know, gripe about something. That don't help anybody. Correct them. Tell them a way to correct it. Now, that's coaching.
Humor is one of the finest things that you can have. Humor cuts through everything. If you don't have humor, it's very difficult to get along in this world, in this life. It cuts through tension, it cuts through relationships. It's a common denominator.
What do you think of Charlie's new haircut? Huh?
I need less curl.
Let's get that hairdo on TV. Look at that. Pretty hairdo. Really a pretty hairdo here. That's a hell of an improvement.
Makes somebody laugh. It puts them at ease, and then the ripple effect back to me is that I become more at ease. I see the reality of this, the human side of this, at many times the irrelevance of this whole business.
It bothers me that they've picked us to be the worst team in football because what they're doing now is challenging my ability to coach. Now this hurts me. Second worst team, I could stand it, but not the worst team.
I've always kidded a little bit about it. I don't have any cliches. When the tough get tougher, the going gets rougher and all that. I don't use that because I don't believe in it.
We're going to get them on a run. We're going to go, 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 go. And we aren't going to stop until we go that goal line. Don't forget, man, today's the day we're going to win.
Because Knute Rockne gave that famous pep talk, and of course the whole world heard about it and very successful with it, and that made a huge impact on the minds of the public, our football fans. And so from that standpoint, I think everyone expects it.
If we die together. You can get it done. You can get it done. What's more, you gotta get it done.
The big key to it is the timing of it.
12 years. 12 years have gone by since the Eagles have been a winner. We're going to come out winners today.
I think there's a fine line sometimes, and it happens during a football game, as to when are you going to give a mental adjustment or when are you going to give a shock adjustment. I mean, in the form of really some good chewing out.
The name of the game, man, is hit. It's pursuing. It's working. We're not doing either. I tell you what, they go down here and score. It's your job to win it.
You got to get out there and you got to block, you got to tackle, you got to cover, you got to protect. That's a rotten exhibition of football. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You deserve the booze they give you.
Halftime pep talk, lasts just about long enough for that guy to get the hell knocked out of him, and then he forgets that pep talk. If it isn't down in him, if it hadn't been done over and over in practice and in games consistently over and over, the pep talk is not going to help. I'd hate to have a guy I thought you had to give a pep talk to get him to play. Football is only a small part of your life. It ain't life or death out there. All we got to do is go out and do the same thing we've asked from the first day we started. Do everything as good as you can, and then a little bit more. That's all the hell you got to do.
I think that pro football players still enjoy and still are motivated and stimulated by some words of inspiration, some gems that fall from your lips, and when your jaw is tight and your knuckles are white and you're ready to beat the locker and go out on the field.
Physical, the first snap has to be that. You win this game, you're going to be a champion. You're going to be the Central Division champions.
They have to be appropriate, though, and they can't be phony. Ball players pick you apart as soon as you start to give them a canned talk, something you read out of a book.
We're going out there this first half, and we're going to explode like a bomb. Then the second, we're just going to get higher. Third quarter, we're going to get higher. And the fourth quarter, we're just going to catch on fire, and that's our game plan. And let's just go out and do it that way.
Big game, they're all big.
Players are like college and high school players in the pros. They still are motivated, and they still want to get up for a ball game.
Let's get it done. Got a little butterflies? If you don't, work them up. You ought to have just a little bit of butterflies, just a little bit of shake. And you get out there, stretch those joints a little bit, and kick their butts all over the field.
What we need right now, men, is what I talked to you about many times during the course of the year. We're backed up a little bit. We just need to flush it all out.
We've done it all year long. We hadn't let go of that rope. And we're not going to start right now. Let's go get this.
Most of us would sneak out of town if we could in the morning of the game. But once you're there, once you walk into that stadium, then I think the fear is gone, and most of us you'd have to drag out of there once the game starts. Before the game, we would all go easily.
You're not running a country club. It's a business. You're there to entertain people, yet you have to win because otherwise, where do you go? I mean, why be there?
It's always the next challenge that's important. You can't rely on what you've done in the past because it really doesn't matter.
You can go from the outhouse to the penthouse, and you can do it in 6 days.
They say that if you don't calm down a little bit, you're going to have a heart attack. It's just my nature. I'm concerned, and I look worried when I'm concerned.
We're all concerned. When you go out there and into the battlefield, you know, hey, there's a chance that it could be an embarrassing thing. I mean, where you might just really get blown out.
I don't really go into a game and say, geez, I'm afraid to lose. I think if you're afraid to lose, you will lose.
I don't believe there's a coach alive that don't believe they're going to win every game.
You're in the middle of it, the eye of the storm, so to speak, and you don't know exactly how it's going to come out. That's when it's fun.
I don't want to let so many people down who count on me, but basically I don't want to let myself down either, because I stand for something that is as good as it can be.
You have to be able to keep your emotions under control. You have to be able to think, and you can't get emotionally involved in a ball game. You need to be the rock.
Keep your poise, man. Keep your poise.
Nice job, Urban. Nice job.
The coach on the sideline has to set the right example for America today.
Damn it, I'll be back there playing like a mummy, crying out loud.
He couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a handful of pucks, man.
Who the f was offsides?
You can't stop a pass or a run. Otherwise, we're in great shape. You can't go in there when guys miss a block or drop the pass and say, don't let it worry you, Charlie.
Hey, Daniels, what the hell you doing out there? You got to run up the goddamn football field. Don't dance around. That's horrible. I could get some girl to do that. Those girls on the sidelines can dance.
Hey, man, we got to suck it up and get in and out of the huddle run, and do things right now. Let's go. Artis, you got to block him. You got to block him. You can't jump inside like that.
Come on, get in the ball game, Willis. Damn it.
Douglas! Douglas!
You go back in the game till I tell you to. Understand, Harmon? You're in the big leagues now. You understand? Yes, sir. Well, let's start growing up.
I think today's athletes need a hug around the neck just as much as they need a kick in the tail.
That's okay, Jimmy. That's okay, Jimmy. Keep your head up, James. Keep your head up.
Roy, you're going to have to make the catch probably to win the ball game, got me? So let's not worry about it, okay?
I want you to hear me when I say this. You never have to worry about me jerking you.
I know it.
All right.
Yeah, you did the best you could. That's a good job.
I'll tell you what, you're a pro quarterback, buddy. That's a hell of a job.
One thing about coaches, they're not a wishy-washy bunch. They generally are people who can make a decision and feel strongly about some things.
Well, we're going for it, fellas, on 4th down. We're going to get 7 here if we're going to do it.
We might as well run it. Yep. Let's run the Bummerooski. Huh? Run the Bummerooski.
Sometimes I don't know what's going on. But if, if you can pretend like you know what's going on or act like you know what's going on, that's important because all eyes shift to the leader. And what's he going to do?
Let's have a little vote out here where they got 70,000 people. You got something for us?
Stay here and make it look like we know what the hell we're doing.
Douglas MacArthur said one time, don't ever give a command that can be understood. Always give commands that cannot be misunderstood.
Panther 28B. Panther on set. Panther, Panther.
Let's go spread yellow right, and we'll run screen left to the halfback, all right?
All right, repeat the play and formation.
Double fox left, blue left, 55 Z comeback. Z motion.
Z motion now. Just slow down.
30 fullback O. What, pardon? 30? 30 fullback O.
Whatever fascinates people about chess fascinates them about football because there's so much strategy involved.
Do it on 1st down to see what they're going to do, and run the same damn running play out high.
Listen, we can throw all day long now. All we got to do is and we can run too. We got to score a lot of points. That's what we got to do.
What we got to run, I'm telling you, it sounds crazy, is an 888. Deep down the middle and hope we get a pass interference, don't you think? Look me in the eye and tell me that ball was a catchable ball. Pardon me? Tell me that was a catchable ball.
I won't tell you anything because I wasn't even watching the play. I had a man in this zone.
It had to have been an Olympic triple gold medal winner to catch that thing.
You got to have somebody to vent your anger at, and an official is going to be one of them.
35. I thought that was against the rules. Putting that wave up there in the crowd. There, huh? Let's get a penalty on the.
Hey, Airman! Hey, you over-officious jerk!
You misplaced the line of scrimmage, you bunch of dummies!
What the hell's wrong with you, 76? Call a clip! You guys are horse out there!
I respect them. I don't always agree with them during the course of the ball game, and I have to let them know that.
Dale, I warned you guys to look for that. There were 13 guys. We counted them. Boy, how can you make a mistake? I'm going to quit trying to help.
Can he wave his hand in front of the guy's face?
You don't touch him.
You gotta be kidding. Hey, you guys are reading a different rule book than me.
How can 6 of you miss a play like that, huh? All 6 of you. The ball jumped out of there as soon as we made contact. And nobody...
I thought you were talking about you being on the field.
No. What?
Now, you can't do that. If you do it, I'm telling you, you're going to have more hell over it in a little bit.
Okay, you should have kissed me, because you sure me.
You can't look at that person and say they're totally irrational. They're so involved and consumed by it that it's almost not fair to judge them at that point.
You can lose games just by the careless handling of the ball. One official throws it to the other and he marks it.
You did good. You did good. You marked it good.
Stretch it out. Stretch it out.
No, he's all right. First down. That's good. You marked it good. You marked it good. You did a hell of a job. Nice going. Great job.
They measured, and you missed the first down by that far. Now, really, that's pretty damn tough for him to put it down that close. But they just move right around and just throw that ball. While they're juggling that ball, it's your life at stake right over here, and you're saying, be a first down, be a first down.
First down by 2 feet. 2 feet. He's got it easy. Got it easy. I can't see. Oh, the signal's way over here. He's got it by 2 feet.
Because you know your fans are going to yell, go for it. And that's the second dumbest thing you do.
Come on, baby, one time. One time. One time, baby.
You have to account for about 20% fortune in football. If your team plays just fairly well, fortune generally tells you who wins and loses.
So now they've got to go to the end zone with 2 seconds left. 49ers will come with a three-man rush. Bartkowski to throw. He is going long down the near sideline. It's going to be a jump ball, and it is pulled down by Billy Johnson. Johnson inside the 10, 5. He is down. He is. Give it to him. He's in. Touchdown! Touchdown, Atlanta. No time on the clock. The Falcons have won it.
Your whole goal and your whole mission is to win.
I don't think there's anything in the world can take the place of a win. That's the thing that I work for, is to win the ball game.
There are moments that you can have great exhilaration because of something that's been accomplished.
I'll tell you where you're going. You're going to Super Bowl. You know, he's going to Super Bowls where
When you win, you better take a long drink of water because you don't know the next time it's going to come.
The satisfaction that you do get is very fleeting. I can recall walking off the field after a, quote, big win, and by the time I had reached the tunnel, a 50-yard or 60-yard walk, I was already starting to think about the next week. The satisfaction is minimal, and for most of us, it lasts a very, very short time.
Whenever you do something well, you always think you could have done it better. And so you're never, ever really particularly satisfied.
It's really a series of zeros or minuses. If you win, you were expected to win. And of course, if you lose, you're haunted until you win again.
The frustrating thing is it's never over. You come right off the field from the championship game and they say, how are you ever going to match this next year?
But winning a game is, who do we play next week?
You know, there's just no time where you can say, go in on a Monday, you know, after you win, and some coaches are swinging on the chandelier. And then they go in on a Monday after you lose, and some coaches are coming in under the rug.
And I don't remember any of the wins, but I remember every loss. And that has a tendency to stick with you because it hurts more.
Losing is a terrible thing if you're in our business. We're in professional football now. This is not high school, where I think there is some benefits in handling losing. But in professional sports, losing is really not tolerated. If you ever show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser. You can't be a good loser. There's no such thing as a good loser.
What did it look like from upstairs?
It looked like he dropped the ball. Yeah, he dropped the ball and he was out of bounds. It was a terrible call.
Well, don't tell me that.
There's nothing to be gained of a positive nature from a defeat. Losing is indigestible.
I have gone in and thrown a glass of Coke or something up against the wall. One time I broke my hand at halftime. I thought I was hitting one of those normal boards, blackboard, and it happened to turn out to be about that thick and slate. That got my attention.
I think the most frustrating thing is the fact that there are some things that you have no control over, just none whatsoever.
They think the coach can control everything that happens on the football field, and you can't.
You look a little confused to me.
Prepare them, drill them, and put them out there. Now, if they don't execute, the fault comes back to the coach.
Every damn game's a crisis.
The people are not going to take the blame themselves. In other words, the players most of the time are going to say, well, hey, it can't be us. It's got to be the coaches. And I've found that the coaches say, well, it can't be us. We're great coaches. It's got to be the players. You know, that's human nature.
Get him out of there because he has no hands.
He has prepared them. It was supposed to be done in a certain manner. It was not accomplished properly. And so everybody blames the coach. But the coach is not playing. The coach has never thrown a block, never caught a ball.
Great kick, Pat. Great kick. I hope you do that in the Pro Bowl.
How many times a coach has to roll his wagon, and how many times he has to dodge the arrows and take the shots, you know, in all the different areas.
You say to yourself, why me? You know, why did this have to happen today?
They're killing me, Whitey. They're killing me.
And everybody can say, well, the breaks will even out the bounce of the ball. They'll even out if you last long enough in coaching. But the one bounce of the ball can be the difference in that one ball game that is the difference between your staying on as head football coach or being fired and put out in the streets.
There ain't but two kinds, them that's been fired and them that's gonna get fired, and I've been both.
Bum Phillips is the most successful coach that Houston ever had, and he was let go. And some writer in Pittsburgh wanted to see Chuck Noll fired. I said, what have I got to look forward to? If I win 4 Super Bowls, somebody's gonna want to fire me?
We know that if we don't win, regardless how many times we won, if we don't win sometime, then we're gonna be out of it. Have the playbook will travel.
When you want to fire a guy, you're gonna find a reason to fire him. And if he is a pretty nice guy, well, you can always say, well, we got rid of him because he's too nice, he's too good a guy. I don't believe that. That's like, you know, they say familiarity breeds contempt, but I don't hate my mother, and I was about as familiar with her as anybody in the world.
But we got fired, and somebody threw a grenade in the room, and there were coaches, you know, with whisper phone calls, you know, fighting for their lives, and guys saying, you know, this is what I've done all my life, you know, what am I going to do now if I can't continue to coach?
We would all like to have some type of tenure, but that's not part of it. And we realize that that's part of the game that we're in. Survival of the fittest, that's what you're faced with week in, week out, and you have to go get that job done.
It is very, very competitive in sports in America because winning is, we're consumed by it.
I think the pressures now, today, have grown more intense. People are not going to go for the programs where you come in and say, we got a 5-year program, a 6-year program. Hey, they want to win right now.
Sport was sport years ago, now it's big business. Football is big business, I mean, let's admit it. And the desire to have a winner in every city in the country is a tremendous desire. Everybody thinks their team should be the best. They want to be known as the championship city or title town. And it puts a lot of pressure because now you're looking at everything as being a winner now. Don't wait. You know, don't build over a period of time. It's got to happen now, and that's the way people look at it.
The people around the organization just get that insatiable thirst. They can, you know, they cannot get enough. So you just expend every bit of energy you can to get there. Once there, you've created such a monster that will eventually engulf you and eat you.
Right now, I'm going to take my own advice and step down out of coaching. I am emotionally burnt out and therefore feel that I need a break. I'm just burnt out. I hope very much my players can understand where I'm coming from. I love those guys. I love these people, all the people of the Eagle organization, and it's not an easy thing to do to say goodbye to them. But as a professional coach, I feel I owe it to them. And I owe it to myself.
I don't want to forget any of you guys because I never will. Hey, thank you for what you've done for me.
I think Dick Vermeil left football for the very honest reason that he gave, and sincere reason that he gave, that it wasn't fun to him anymore. He didn't get up looking forward to his day's job. And if we all had the guts to say, when you don't have that good feeling, that it is time to get into another line of work, we'd all be happier.
Life is very big, and you cannot reduce it to only the football field. It's much bigger than that.
And coaches that I've known that have gotten out of coaching, one of the common quotes I hear them say is, I'm surprised that there are other things to do. There are other things in life besides football.
Your main commitment in life is to take care of your family and to provide them possibly with the things that you didn't have. And I get more satisfaction out of providing for my family than I ever did coaching a football game.
And let's face it, we make more money on some people. Hate to bring that up. That is a fact of this profession.
The thing that's going to decide the size of your funeral is the weather. It's not going to be how many games you won or how many you lost or how many points you scored.
You know, when you get up to the head coach in the sky, You know, the master coach, he's not going to look at your W's and L's. He's going to really look at how much you gave away, and that's really what's important. And, you know, in the final analysis, the world is going to go on.
My daughter made a comment to me recently. She said, you know, Dad, I want to get a job. I'd like to have a job like the job you have. I looked at her and I said, why is that? She said, because, you know, you're different from all the other people that I know. She says, you really love your job. She says, you want to go to work. You get up in the morning, you're running out the door.
It's an entirely unique profession. It's a profession that, regardless of what some people say, they are glad to be there.
It doesn't matter how much money you had, you couldn't buy my job. There's only 28 people in the world that have my job.
It is the best competition in football in America. And I believe in most coaches' hearts, in the high school level, the junior college, Division III, II, and I, all would like to be at that level.
NFL football coaches are leaders of people. And if it wasn't a strong desire to be an NFL head football coach, these people would have a strong desire to be the president of General Motors or the president of Ford Motor Company or IBM.
The ability to persevere, the ability to have the character to rebound, you know, after defeat. It's a tough breed.
Well, there's a fraternal feeling in coaching like there is in any specialized profession. They're pretty darn good guys.
I wouldn't trade it for anything on earth. Believe me, I wouldn't.
I don't know how in the world, after you've been in it so long, and at least as long as I have, that you could live without it.
A lot of times guys kind of think back and say, well, I'd like to be doing something else. I could probably have been successful at it and so forth. I know that I couldn't have. That what I want to do with my life for the rest of my life is to coach.
This one goes to the man. Second game ball, most important, goes to our head coach who never gave up on us.
I'd like to recognize you, give you the game ball.
Chop!